everybody. Today I want to talk to you about complacency. I moved out to the country 10 years ago. I'm living in rural Oklahoma, and things that I have learned out here, I don't think I ever could have learned while I was living in Phoenix. I was born and raised there. I've moved all around the country, but Phoenix is my home. One of the things, the hardest lesson that I've learned while living in Oklahoma is that when you are all by yourself in the middle of nowhere, working from home, doing everything else from home, hanging out with your best friend, your partner, whatever, hanging out with the kids, it is a wonderful way to find out who you really are and what you're interested in, but it is a terrible way to keep up with technology and innovation. Something that I have found is that video really helps me stay in touch with the outside world. I had a revelation yesterday. I took my daughter to Tulsa. I was actually dropping off my oldest son at the Tulsa airport. Took my daughter to a mall in Tulsa so that she could spend some Christmas gift cards she got. She's 15. We ended up at Sephora. And there, in the harsh light of those awful makeup counters, which you can see is not my language, I don't speak the Sephora. In that harsh light, I realized that 10 years in the middle of nowhere with very little outside interaction has done terrible things for the way I present myself to the public, because I write for a living. As long as my words are beautiful, it doesn't matter what's happening on the front end. I used to go through a lot of effort to doll up, sexy up, maybe even slutty up a little for rock and roll shows or when I go out to cover live events. But now that I'm hours away from all of that stuff, my opportunities to go to them have dwindled down to hardly anything. And as a result, I live most of my days in ponytails, sweats, no care about the face. I wash it when I wake up and boom, I'm on with my day, because what's the point of destroying my skin if I'm never going anywhere? That's one example of complacency that living in the middle of nowhere has created. Another is, even before I moved here, 10 years ago, I was going to tech conferences and everybody was talking about how video was just what we needed to get into. I've been blogging for 5 years at that point, and video, that's all anybody talked about. And I'm not comfortable on camera. And over the next year, you're going to hear a whole lot of reasons why, but the end result is I'm just not comfortable on camera. And it's not even a self-esteem. I'm afraid of people ripping into my looks, because if you wanted a beauty vlog, you'd already be watching one. This is not that. It was just something that, I've always been more comfortable typing out my thoughts, having the opportunity to edit them, having the ability to have other people read through maybe a draft and decide if it makes sense. I've been more comfortable using the written word than I am the spoken word. I tend to trip over my sentences a lot. I have a few speech issues. I have a few comprehension issues. Either way, going on camera was just not something I'd ever consider. Until I lived 10 years in the middle of nowhere and people forgot what my face looked like. I forgot what my face looked like. I realized I go days, even weeks, without even looking at a mirror, and it's starting to show. That brings us to what we're doing today. Today, I'm starting vlogging. Might never ever get watched by anybody but my mother. Hi, Mom. It might get watched by a lot of people. You never know what people are gonna like. What I am doing this year is I am teaching myself to vlog. I've never really edited videos. I put one up a few days ago about our first snow here in Oklahoma for this year. And that was my first try ever using video editing software. This is brand new territory. I've never purchased equipment for the purpose of video editing for myself, so I'm dealing with outdated technology. This video right now is being filmed on a Samsung S5 that I've owned for years. Use what you have where you have it. Learn the skill and the tech will follow. So here we go. This is the front-facing camera on a Samsung S5. Right now using the default microphone. Today, as my first vlog, I'm just going to test different types of microphone inputs or options. I don't even have the language for vlogging. I guess we'll learn that together too. I'm going to test different microphones that I have on hand from years of dabbling in tech but not really diving in. And I'm going to see what I like the best and tell you exactly what I'm using when I'm using it. Just a note up front, I'll be doing all of my editing in a software I downloaded last week, which I've only poked around a little bit in, and that is DaVinci Resolve version 14. And I've been watching really great tutorials from people like Peter McKinnon, who really go and dive deep and show, step by step how they do their videos. And hopefully I'm a quick learner. Feel free to ask any questions you have below. If you want to know more about me, about 15 years of vlogging in music, that's a fun one. Or just what it's like to live in rural Oklahoma after being a city girl my whole life, feel free to ask in the comments below. And I'm back. Now I am recording using the built-in microphone on the Samsung headphones that came with my S5. Somehow I've managed to keep these headphones alive for, 5 years now. And they have not broken, they haven't split, the audio hasn't left one ear or the other. I am using a selfie stick. It's not totally extended. I think I got this thing for $10 at the local co-op. At the checkout aisle. That's where all the best impulse buys are made. You'll notice that I am filming from my RV. This RV has stories. It was the touring vehicle for the Southern rock band Motor Train. It is a wonderful, wonderful rig. It's got hardly any miles on it, but when we purchased it back in 2010, maybe, it had some severe water damage in the front end. So that's something that I've been working on. And over time, I'll show you more of the RV, but the general gist of it is it's a C-Class. I've had to rebuild the front end. It's going to become a music room. It can sleep, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 beds? No, 7 beds. 8 if you turn the front driver's section into a cab. It's got all the basic amenities of an RV. It's got the propane and electric refrigerator here. It's got microwave and an oven and, a full service kitchen, everything there. Everything works. We had to have the generator rebuilt when we first got it. We replaced a few parts under the hood. Don't ask me what they were. They were expensive, but not terribly expensive given the total cash investment on the thing. Anyway, Motor Train got to use this for about 5 years, and the band unfortunately is on hiatus now. And one of the things that we loved about it was that it came with bunks in the back. It came with a set of 4 bunks in the back. So what I've been working on is actually converting the bottom bunks into one giant bed. I cut out a good portion of one of the top bunks, only leaving one sleeping space, and I'll be trimming that over the next week. Why am I doing this? My plan is to spend a little bit of time this summer actually living in Nashville or on the outskirts of Nashville in KOAs and, private driveways in the RV while I still continue doing my work with Country Music News Blog and Country Music on Tour. It's going to give me an opportunity to meet face-to-face a lot of people that I've only worked with through email up until this point. I'm pretty excited about it. My next piece of audio equipment, what I'm recording vocally with now, is an Olympus dual input, I've forgotten the word for it. But it is an Olympus stereo microphone that we used to use to do live interviews on Country Music News Blog. We would take this into tour vans for Chris Knight and for Miranda Lambert and all that stuff and try to capture as much of the room noise as we could. And I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this one sounds. It's probably going to pick up the hum of the refrigerator. It's probably going to pick up a little of the traffic that's outside because I do live right alongside a state highway. A lot of country behind me, a little bit of highway in front of me. Kind of symbolizes my life a bit if you really think about it. Anyhow, I'll show you a clip of what that microphone looks like. This is that microphone. It's a condenser mic. That's the word I couldn't think of. Last but not least, we're going to try the trusty old Lavalier mic. I've got one foot right here, didn't bother tucking it in anywhere. And we're going to see how the audio on that is. I know in the previous segment I tested the condenser mic, and then before that the Samsung headphones with the built-in microphone. I will not be doing the Samsung headphones again. It was so muffly that I couldn't understand a word I said, but I'm going to work on editing that. Let me know what you think about the edit. So what else is coming up for 2018 for me? You may know that I started a private women's network called the Legendary Women's Club. We launched in September of 2017, and we really haven't done a whole lot so far, but I'll start peppering in a little bit of the work over there through the upcoming videos. My big focus this year really is creating video, learning how to edit, learning how to do the audio, learning how to make it interesting. This channel is going to be a general look at what my life is like as a self-employed, full-time music blogger turned vlogger. We're going to learn together. We're going to see how difficult this can be for somebody who's not terribly technically minded. And I will take you with me along the way for all of the adventures that I get in on. If I get in on any, it's been a quiet couple years. We'll talk about that too. As always, if you have questions, if you want to know more about something, if you want to give me some pointers, because Lord knows I need them, go ahead and comment below. That being said, welcome to my channel.